words when I have those headphones in.
Right. So I'm Yaroslav Kolomiiets. This is unscheduled talk. I was inspired by talking to some people yesterday to actually give it. So this is about presentations in Acme, right? So two slide scripts, and this is the first part, and the how to get the rich text would be a second part. So the slide scripts are actually inspired by Russ Cox's talk. Is actually very old concept, right? So his tour of Acme, he used this same set of scripts basically to give that talk. So this, I think, over a decade old now. So I'll talk about that really quick and focus more about mixing fonts in the same slide. So changing slides, the slide plus, slide minus. I walk really quick about through it. It's really, really simple Acme script, which reads the tag, sets the name. So it takes argument the slide name, expects that same directory to contain that file, load it, and make it displayed. So it works like if I say slide title, in the same directory I have a file name title, it will just replace this window with the contents of that slide. And the slide plus thingy, so let me just go back here. The slide plus would be a slightly different, hold on. Yep. It takes a look at current window, the title of it, tag of it, allocates the file index, which expected to have all the slides. No, not here. Here. All the slides listed one per line in that order, right? And look up the next slide and display it. Yes, call the slide script. And slide minus is the reverse of it. It does exactly the same, but displays a previous slide, right? So to have it working, I usually have the guide file next to those index files, which allow me to set up the proper font I intend to display those slides in, and then basically, or have an index somewhere, and then start presentation, and to just go through the slides by middle clicking on this slide plus, slide minus. So we observed many folks yesterday use this kind of scripting, which nice to see. I also tend to use it myself a lot for internal presentations. So this particular presentation has nothing to do with the subject of the talk. It's just a display of how we use the scripts. So another part, second part of my quick talk is the getting the mixed font. So Russ Cox also inspired this for my slides, although the way he did differs slightly from how I did it. So how he did it, was to use the private range, Unicode private range, to map new fonts or say like related fonts into that range and replace the code points of his text to use those ranges instead. So the downside of that approach is that the text is not readable in anything else but Plan 9 systems, right? With using that particular font with mapped ranges. So I did a little bit of digging. It turns out the Unicode itself has code points for different symbol variants, like displaying shape of A in italics or in bold, or the intention of that, as Unicode folks put it in the standard, is to have the typeset dependent semantics displayed properly, right? So whatever it is, whether it's like mathematical formulas or physical formulas, where the bold and scripts like have semantical meaning, right? So where it cannot be changed when you change the font of the entire presentation, right? So this was the intention, but we can actually use this fact and create something like this, right? Within the same text, we can mix up different fonts without actually relying on rendering system to somehow change those fonts for us. We can just say that this text must be bold and there is no way around it. And the system, Unicode compatible system will just do it. And it's not dependent on like Plan 9 or Acme. I can just type it in terminal, Unicode aware terminal, in say the, it will be still readable text, and you can even, I don't know, can you see it? There will be different fonts too there. So this is my approach to multiply formatted text. So how I did it, yes. So I went through all the standards, Unicode standard. I found the code points. They are not always the contiguous ranges. So basically, I need to map from what I found to what I want to be. For example, for bold, this is pretty straightforward range. Yes, almost continuous. So these letters are not outside of some range. So we need to translate those differently. So on the left we see the regular font. On the right we see the corresponding mapping in bold range, and same for italic, and same for bold italic and Helvetica variants, serif variants, and monotype and segmented display if you're into that kind of things. So this is basically a bunch of TR scripts, but the way you use it is you select a phrase if you want. You call that script T font, say Helvetica italic, and you filter and you get your font. If you want to change it back or change to another font, you first reset the formatting. So there is another one which is translates it back to regular, and you can experiment with the looks. Yes, so you can do bold, for example. Or this was a, let's do HB. This would be nicer looking thing. Right? The other part is, okay, I almost sure that none of the standard Plan 9 fonts will be displaying those ranges correctly. Yes, so there might be some fiddling done. So best font, I think, available with best Unicode coverage is Symbola, right? But this is not a problem, as I have a solution for that as well. So I was looking into what I'm relying here mostly is the fallback logic of the macOS itself. So this font SRV on Plan 9 port, it uses the macOS font logic, yes, and rendering of the fonts. And but this is still not ideal. If you look here, this can be like looking really weird. What if you want to control that? Like I don't want to solve that for macOS, but for Acme or Plan 9, this is actually very easy, since fonts in Plan 9 are text, right? So this is the description of font format, which basically tells which ranges can be displayed by which bitmaps. Yes. So even for some, and some, you can combine the fonts within the can combine subphones in single bigger font. Yes, even within the plain 9 distribution, it can be like Latin variant of a font and Unicode variant of a font, which includes more ranges, but more like memory hungry. Yes, for those times when that still mattered. Today is not a problem anymore, right? We can include the whole Unicode range in one font and don't bother thinking about memory. So that brings us to the third topic, how to make those fonts. So I'll show you an example of a mixed fonts I came up with. So this is a Go font, Go regular, used as a base, but certain ranges related to those which you saw in the TR scripts, which are represented by another font, like Go Mono, for example. Mapped few ranges from Go Mono, few ranges from Go Bold, few ranges for Go Italic, and Bold Italic. So basically knowing these numbers, and they are never changed, they are in the standard, you can come up with all kind of font mixes. So I have this font mix awk script, which takes a base font and whatever you want for monotype, whatever you want for Bold Italic and Go Italic and Italic and Bold Italic, and basically filters, creates this mix. It just, whatever variables you have there, it just sticks them in and produces the output. And I'm using, instead of using the font created by Font SRV directly, I'm using these mixes instead. For everything, I'm just using Acme with those mixes. So I just solved this problem one time, and I never need to think about that again. So yeah, I think you can. Yes, both font mix and the TR script, you can find it in my contrib directory. It's YK character, I think. Yeah, I forgot to type it in here. So, and sources, contrib, YK, lab, font mix. That's the path where you can find this if you find it useful. And that concludes my lightning talk. Right, do you have any questions? Okay, no questions. Cool.